I don't know how long my phone battery is gonna last, but I'm gonna try and very quickly film a little tea talks catch up for you because I haven't done one of those in a while. I'm playing around with some new filming setups in my new home to start with. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't often actually like filming in front of my bookshelves, which is probably a bit odd for a booktuber, but there you go. Anyway, let's talk about some stuff. So what's been going on in my life lately? Well, as you can see, I'm in a new home. So I've moved into this new house. It's been lovely. It's a nice house to be living in. My new housemate, who is Dave, the barista from the cafe that I used to go to all the time, is also lovely. There's been lots of bottles of wine and lots of movie marathons and just hanging out and having nice times and living in a nice house. Yeah, so that's been really lovely. I've been working at the nanny job, obviously, and I've got to be honest, I don't know how long I'm gonna last at it because I'm very tired and I want to kill myself every morning when my alarm goes off. I'm basically away from home for about 13 hours a day. I travel there in the morning. I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I leave the house at 6. I get there at 6:30. They get home somewhere around 6:30, sometimes 7, and I don't get home until around 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And then in order to get enough sleep, in order to wake up at 5:30, I basically need to be in bed by around 9:30. So I start getting ready for bed at 9 and go to bed at like 9:30. So basically I get home at 8, have 1 hour in which to cook food and like eat food and do the dishes and maybe relax for a little bit before I have to start getting ready for bed. So it's exhausting, but I don't expect it to last for too much longer. I'm basically already searching for a replacement job and just using this as my security blanket for income while I search for something that's going to be a bit less draining and a bit more permanent. I'm thinking I might actually film a like day in the life vlog of what my life is like at the moment, just cause I think it'll be kind of nice to have as a memory as well for me to look back on and be like, how the hell did I survive those crazy days? So maybe sometime later this week I'll like film from actually getting up until going to bed what it's like to be working my job. Anyway, let's talk about other things. I don't have any videos to share because I haven't watched much YouTube in the last couple of weeks, and also because my phone is about to die and I'm trying to film this really quickly, so I'll have to give my little YouTube shout outs a skip for this week. So let's move on to what I've been reading. So I finished The Song of the Linus and I'd started reading Strange the Dreamer, so I've now read all of Strange the Dreamer. I started reading it and was really loving it, and then I got really tired and didn't read much over the last week and a half, and then this weekend I sat down and read all of it in one weekend. Absolutely loved it. The writing style is so stunning. The setting and the world building is just gorgeous. There are a few points here and there that made me cringe in terms of like these really overly poetic descriptions of people's emotions. I get really cringy when it comes to people getting like too poetic about emotions and things like that. Also, it does feature insta-love, kind of like in that Romeo and Juliet style where they're like willing to die for each other even though they haven't known each other for very long, and that makes me cringe a little bit too. But overall, the book was beautiful. Still beautiful enough for me to give it a 5-star rating. I also have listened to the audiobook of Peter Pan. I was listening to it for a while I was driving to and from work. It didn't take me very long because it's a very short book, but I did listen to it and it was amazing as well. I had to dock some points off because it is pretty problematic in terms of its views on Native Americans. I mean, it's a product of its era, but I think, you know, regardless of being a product of its era and being part of a time when people had some very problematic views about a lot of different cultures, you still kind of need to dock points off of that because it's a kid's book and it's kind of uncomfortable to hear them talk about the Redskins the way that they are talked about in this book. So I did dock some points off for that, but if it wasn't for that, I would definitely have given it a 5-star rating because it was just such a beautiful book and it was really fun to read. It had that really light-hearted interaction with the reader, between the reader and the narrator, that the characters in the story don't know, that make it really fun for adults to read and really fun for you to read as you get older and make it that kind of timeless classic. So I really like that too. Right now I'm not reading anything because I keep forgetting to take a book with me when I go to work, but I'm thinking I will be picking up the French version of Harry Potter, and I will also be picking up the second book in The Name of the Wind, but I'm also running out of days, so we'll see how we go. And that is my relatively quick update of what's going on in my life and my reading life. I will see you in another video very shortly, I'm sure, and until then, as always, stay classic.
Sit there and count your little fingers, unhappy little girl blue.